Hi everyone, welcome to the Written Word Library. I am Alex, and today I'm going to be doing the Newbie book tag video where, people who are new to Booktube introduce themselves and essentially explain why are they joining Booktube. What are they going to contribute? Because believe me, there are thousands of Booktube channels. So it's a good question to ask, why am I making a channel and why should you watch my channel? And I do believe I have some pretty good reasons for you to watch as I make more videos and progress. And I will say I do have a little notepad here, so I will be looking at this periodically just to remind myself what I'm talking about. So I do apologize for that. To start off with here, as I already said, my name is Alex. And my background is that I went to college and I studied a lot of things. So my three main foci were history, political science, and chemistry. Now, I didn't study them all at once, and I can explain that at a later date. We can get into that at some later time. But those were the three main subjects that I studied. But I also took classes in other areas, such as the humanities, of course. And I actually took three American literature classes, if you'd call them that. And the first class I took was your Intro to American Lit, which was called Mapping America, which was a very, you'd think an intro class. The college I went to was a very tiny college, and our Intro to American Lit class, I swear, we had 8 people. We were in like a small, almost claustrophobic room, and we were just talking about American short stories and excerpts. But it was by geography, is really how it was. Really fascinating class. The second class I took was called American Humor. And this class was not just literature, it also had to do with films. So we watched a lot of silent films, but we also read books such as Thomas Pynchon, and look, I'm going to admit I didn't do all the readings. I'm sure we all can relate to not doing some of the readings in college, and maybe you're trying to hide. You try to hide, you don't do the readings, and you're hiding, hoping that no one asks you your opinion. But then the third one I took was actually a writing class, a writing workshop class. It was called genre writing, but it was for science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And we read a great book by Jeff Vandermeer called Wonder Book. And he wrote Annihilation, by the way. That's what he's most known for today. But he wrote this fantastic book called Wonder Book, and it's essentially describing how do you create worlds, how do you create imaginative fantasy or science fiction or horror. He covered all those topics, and he used essays by authors, by well-known authors. So you're getting George R. R. Martin's in there, Neil Gaiman, and then you also have Ursula K. Le Guin. You have authors like that providing their advice on writing. So I guess, yeah, so he did that, but we each had to write our own story. So we had to write a short story, a fantasy short story, a science fiction short story, and a horror short story, which I did find in the class that it did end up becoming very cliquey. Like, you can tell when we were workshopping that people were praising their friends, let me put it this way. And if you were not one of their friends, they didn't have much to say about you. They did not have much to say about you. They did not. But without further ado, I do want to just answer some questions that I feel like can make it a little more fun. So the first thing I'm going to do is tell you the first book that I read, that I remember reading. And this book was the Captain Underpants series by Dave Pilkey, which, as you can tell, it was high literature, very dense prose. I mean, so difficult to read those books. Well, especially without laughing, right? And I read those when I was probably in third, fourth grade. And I was a boy, so, we liked all the silly humor, like the poop humor, all those kind of things. And then the last book I read was Shadow of the Torturer, which I have right here for you. Don't you worry. Shadow of the Torturer, which is a fantastic book, which is by Gene Wolfe. Very different books, as you can tell here. I went from reading Captain Underpants in 3rd grade to being 28 years old reading Shadow of the Torturer, which is, it's a beauty. Don't worry, I am going to make a video on Shadow of the Torturer. I definitely will make a video on that. Do not worry. Do not fret. Friends, do not fret. Okay, so what are we on to next? The next topic I want to talk about, let's see, is what is my motivation here? What is my motivation for the channel? And I'm going to say this to start. I'm an average book reader. I'm an average American book reader, which means I don't read that much. Right? So I read 2-3 books a year. Primarily, I do read things, just not books. Like I'll read things about chemistry or history. I'll read articles. I'll read parts of textbooks, the chapters you find interesting on that subject. But what I want Booktube to do is to hold me accountable and to motivate me to read more books. So what my goal is to read 4 books a month. So it's quite a grand kind of very much a stretch I'm trying to create here, right? I'm really trying to create a stretch here by going from reading 2 to 3 books a year to 4 books a month. But I'm hoping y'all on Booktube will hold me accountable and say, hey, Alex, you said you wanted to read 4 books a month. Where are you at? Why aren't you reading? Get reading. Open up that book. Right? That's what I'm hoping on Booktube. And I'm hoping to do some buddy reads. I really want to do some buddy reads with some of the people because they seem like so much fun. I mean, you got all these great people. You got Talking Story. You have Library of Alexandria. Say Alexandria or Alexandria, my bad. Oh man, so many people. I mean, all the people that do the reading sprints. The weekend reading sprints. I would love to join those buddy read communities. Two to Ramble. I got Austin and Richard, who I call Ricardo in the comments. I don't know if they've caught on to that. They're thinking I don't know his name, but no, I'm calling him Ricardo on purpose. To bring to Booktube as well. What I'm also hoping to do, and I've noticed this, I don't know if any of you guys have noticed this, but there are book silos or genre silos on Booktube where the fantasy and sci-fi people are in one corner and the litfic or literature fiction people are in a complete opposite corner. And I don't get it. Why can't we all meet? I mean, it's not like we're the mutants from the X-Men. We can come together and get people to read more and encourage some really great reads. So that's what I am hoping to do. I'm hoping to read fantasy, science fiction, and of course the classics. And that does get me into my next point here is what I'm planning on doing is I'm actually planning every few months, I'm going to dedicate that month to one author. So coming up, I'm going to do all Jane Austen novels. The next one will be all John Steinbeck. And then the third one I have so far is Guy Gabriel Kay, GGK. Everyone's boasting about him. He's the most underrated fantasy writer out there. I know he had something connected to Lord of the Rings. I think that's how I first heard about him, was from Brandon Sanderson on Intentionally Blank talking about him with Dan Wells. Or they were talking about Guy Gabriel Kay, and I know he's somehow related to Lord of the Rings. That's my plan for some of those months. Video ideas for the channel, right? Because everyone does book reviews, right? Everyone does book reviews, and to be honest, from what I've heard and from what I've seen, they don't always do that great, right? So I do plan on doing book reviews, but I have some fun ideas here for you that I hope will reinvigorate Booktube and will get more people to watch Booktube, especially fantasy and science fiction Booktube. So I have two big ideas, I would say, that I'm planning on doing videos on. I love creating fun book quizzes. And I was really inspired and motivated by Alan from Library of Alexandria with his book Jeopardy. Oh my gosh, those are such a blast, and those questions are so creative that I tried to emulate him. Now, I may not be able to do as well as he can, but I'm hoping to give you guys some fun things to do with books. Not just read them and talk about them, but how can we laugh about books as well? How can we, just make them more fun? That's my goal. So far, I'm going to do The Blade itself, something on Jane Austen. I don't know if I'm going to break it up with her, like all of her books separately, or if I'm just going to do one whole Jane Austen book quiz. I might do 2 parts. That's what I might do. I might do 2 parts, but just on Jane Austen. The other thing would be Shadow the Torturer, etc. You kind of get the point. But those are my original ideas going forward. The second thing I want to bring to Booktube is author video biographies. I am a person who loves finding out about authors. I spend so much time on Wikipedia reading about my favorite authors, reading about their life story, how they got started. I just find all of that so fascinating. It's so fascinating. And so I want to bring that to Booktube. I want to bring that to YouTube. I want to do documentaries on authors that you don't have documentaries on, a lot of them. So a few, just name a few. And mainly these people are going to be people who have passed away. I'm not going to do any videos on people who are still alive because I feel like that's a little disrespectful. It's almost like saying like, oh, your time is over, that the sun is setting on your life. So I don't want people to feel that way. So all of these authors are going to be people who have passed away, authors who have passed away. And let me give you a little sample of who I'm going to cover. So we have Ursula K. Le Guin. I mean, very well known. But I don't think she's known to non-bookish people. I don't think a lot of people know about her. So I'm hoping to bring non-bookish people to see, oh, who is this person? Maybe I'll go read some of her books. Also, Gene Wolfe. We also have Gene Wolfe, who I already mentioned his book, right? Shadow the Torturer, which is the Book of the New Sun, is considered his magnum opus. So I'm preparing the video right now, and I'm having so much fun because I want to do Gene a huge service. And other authors, Mikhail Bulgakov, I probably spelled that or pronounced that incorrectly. He won't care, right? John Steinbeck and Jane Austen. Those are people who are first on the list because I'm going to be reading those authors' books. Some of the other authors I'm reading are the books I'm reading. They're still alive, so I'm obviously not going to make videos on them. But that is my list. So again, Ursula K. Le Guin, Gene Wolfe, Mikhail Bulgakov, John Steinbeck, and Jane Austen. I really want to join the Booktube community. These live streams, these book sprints look like so much fun, and I really want to get involved. What I also might do is do a reading sprint before Matt on Books' reading sprint, because Matt on Books does it 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm thinking about doing one from like 11 to 1. Because I feel like it's a good thing to start the day off right, reading some books. Let's read some books to start off the day. Why not, right? So that is a plan. I am thinking about doing, I almost would call it like a prequel to the Sunday Pub, if you will. Or maybe I can be a hype man for Matt, because those are so great to watch. So great to watch those videos. And I really want to get involved in the community. Like I said, I want to do some buddy reads with some of these people on Booktube, and I want to get involved in the community because everyone just seems so great, and get those 2-hour discussions, right? Get those panel of 3, 4, 10 people, however many people you can pull pull from Booktube and just have those great discussions, because I don't have people to talk about those books with. So it would be just great to join the Booktube community and start having those discussions. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'm so excited to join Booktube, and I hope to see you all in the comments and all the other videos. Bye.